start. You're one win away from Omaha. Baton Rouge North, one win away. You have Anthony Ianson. You have Kason Evans ready to go. By the way, you have other arms in your bullpen that are also going to fire out. We'll break the game down. Game one of the Super Regional, LSU defeats West Virginia 16-9. Even in a win, some of you still found a way to complain, but the LSU Tigers found their way with 3 massive home runs, 2 of them being grand slams by Stephen Milam and Josh Pearson. Derek Curiel being moved down to the 7-hole. What is Jay Johnson doing? What in the Rudy Poo hell is Jay Johnson doing? The guy who is 1 win away from getting to Omaha 4 out of the last 8 full seasons as a head coach has absolutely no idea what he was doing, moving Derek Curiel down into the 7-hole. None. Then he just hit a 3-run bomb. You can't make this shit up sometimes. But let's get into it all. All right, before we get rolling, you know what it is on every post-game show. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, into all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Before we get rolling, let's pay some bills around this thing. Need to tell you about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, you can use the promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50. You'll receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, where the game starts. You know you can actually go over there and bet some college baseball. Think LSU is going to win tomorrow? Go over to betonline.ag and use that promo code to receive that 50% off welcome bonus. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by using that promo code BELIEVE50. And our good friends over at Service Oak Digital Media. Guys, with the right leads, smart systems, and real growth, you need to get a marketing system that works for you today by going over to servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io. If you're an electrical pro, generator pro, you're an HVAC, whatever business that you're in, you need right leads with smart systems. You need the marketing team that can get you over the top over your competitors. Get over to servicehawk.io today and let them get you those right leads. Also, talk about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. Guys, if you are looking to purchase a home or refinance, or you're looking to get into real estate, you need to call our friends over at Red Stick Financial, 225-407-9250, 225-407-9250, or go see them over in Baton Rouge today. If you're in the state of Texas, Louisiana, or Mississippi, they can take care of you today. With those interest rates coming down, you need to go call them and reference that refinance. That's redstickfinancial.com as well. If you want to go over to the website and check them out today. So we are live. Everyone does us a favor. Every single one of you does us a favor. You'll hit the like and share. You can also do us the favor. If you want your comment read, you know what it is. It's post games. You send in the super chats if you want 100% certainty that your comment's going to get read. Jeb Whitley on YouTube says, love the show, love this community. Checking in from Speedwell, Tennessee. Go AYS, go Tigers. Yes, where is everybody watching from tonight? I absolutely adore when y'all come in here and tell us where you're watching from. We got them in Tennessee. Guys, you know Houston, Texas is our number 2 top region in all of AYS. Houston. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jeb. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Stephen Young says, I'll admit I was skeptical. Jay is a damn magician. Boy, y'all was calling for his ass to be fired in the middle of the season. Little old Blake told you to, well, I guess I can't say I'm little old Blake, but Blake told you to calm your ass down. Blake told you to calm your ass down. Guys, he's 1 win away from half of his last 8 years in his head coaching career being in Omaha. Stop with y'all's bullshit on that. Now, you got to win that one game. So it's a big win. And listen, we're going to talk a lot about West Virginia. They're going to come out swinging tomorrow. You better be ready for it. Let's get into it here. Let's pop in some rally pillows, and off we go. Hit the like and share. Kate Anderson got the start. You know, there was some talk in reference to, from some of you, about Anthony Ianson and him starting game one in the regional, if he was going to start in game one in the supers. And your boy was like, no, not happening. Just didn't make any sense. Anthony Ianson coming off of a game 7 outing in the 9th to get you to the super regionals, it just didn't make any sense. I felt as if that using him made him go on Sunday, right? Like it's a day's rest from a bullpen that he would have had anyway. So I know there was a little chatter. I don't think with any iota, not one, not any little iota, did Jay Johnson question, think, or any of it about who was going to start tonight, that being, or today, and that being Kate Anderson. But at the top of the first, he does go 1, 2, 3, gets Guzman, who's been very dangerous, went 8 for 12 in the regional, and a 9-pitch at bat gets him fly out to Derek Curiel. Suave would come in and ground out to Michael Braswell, and then a fly out to Josh Pearson, which him and I almost said Chris Braswell, but it's not Chris Braswell. Chris Stanfield would collide, but no harm, no foul. Tigers are out of the inning. Bottom of the first. So we talked about Graham Kern the entire week. The West Virginia lefty normally caps out around 90 pitches. It's about what he's going to give you. It's about what happens in those 90 pitches, that if you allow him to do what he does, he's going to pick you up and put you down. In the first inning, he did just that. He got a fly out, was Pearson to the catcher, a fly out by Fry into center field, and Jones would strike out looking, guys, in 10 pitches. In 10 pitches. This kid's really good. The approach, I thought, and we had talked about going into the week, was simple. Hey, you're going to have to make Kern throw a lot of pitches. You're going to have to get that pitch count up very quickly. First inning was not the inning that you did that. If anything, you should have taken some more pitches. You were trying to be aggressive. I absolutely understand why you're trying to be aggressive there. 10 pitches. This kid's really good. And listen, you put up 16 runs against a start for a kid in Kern who's been very efficient all year. Guys, the walks and hit by pitches have not been his problem at all season. You made him do something he wasn't able to do, but you saw what he had done all season long and go 1, 2, 3. Kate Anderson back out for the top of the second. And listen, a couple of times, actually 3 times in the game today, Kate Anderson either on short rest, long rest, or I guess you could just say a long time waiting in reference to different arms coming out for West Virginia and he's sitting in the dugout, or fatigue. Kern goes out there and throws 10 pitches, and Anderson is right back on the bump. And in the second inning, having that quick of a turnaround seemed like with the first 2 hitters really affected him. White would hit a line drive single into center field. Kelly would hit a line drive right off of Kate Anderson's elbow. That did not feel good. That did not feel good. The first pitch for Anderson being a fastball after the line drive off the arm was a fastball at 91 miles an hour. It's not Kate Anderson. I'm sure he was feeling it, did hit his throwing elbow. It's got to hurt. But West Virginia gets 2 on with 2 at-bats, with 2 line drives, essentially right back up the middle. King would have a sac bunt where Jared Jones would give it over to Danny Dickinson at first, and you got one out with runners on second and third. This is where, and this is the part where we talked about all week, when West Virginia, they do it all. The first time that they got guys on base, they're already pushing them over with a bunt. They've been doing it all year. They will continue to do that throughout the remainder of the year, depending on how long that goes for them. Whether we eliminate them tomorrow or not, guys, early in the game, they're going to do that. It was a vocal point. It was a narrative that got pushed this week that they weren't going to do that. Bullshit, they weren't. They did early on in the game. Now, they didn't have to later on in the game because they had to chase runs. But that is a staple. Runners on second and third, Reinhardt would hit a ground ball to Michael Braswell, where I do think Brazzy should have come home with it, but he goes to first and gets an out. West Virginia is able to play the run off of a bunt or two line drives, a bunt, a very weak dribbler to third. They get a run. When they are at their best, they are hitting line drives, they are pushing guys over, and they're getting runs in. That is their goal. That is 1,000% their goal. They want to foul off as many pitches as they can. They are feisty. They came out swinging in the first couple of innings, in my opinion. The way that they play and putting pressure on you. They do play to run in the first. Lumsden would come in and Cade Anderson would strike him out on 4 pitches. And that is where you would end the second inning. Bottom of the second, Milam would ground out to the shortstop. Luis Hernandez would strike out looking. Danny Dickinson would hit a ball to the shortstop, which would plate an error for Danny Dickinson. Derek Curiel would get hit by a pitch, and Michael Braswell would hit a fly ball in the right field. The second inning, I felt as if that we really noticed something. I think the approach, and Ben pointed this out, Ben McDonald pointed this out, and he's 1,000% right. I think it might have been Dave Neal actually pointed it out. I felt like in the second inning, guys were hogging the plate very aggressively. They were right up on it. Now, it plated, or I shouldn't say plated, it assisted Derek Curiel of being hit by a pitch. Now, you're unable to get a run in the second. But I felt like that was the start of where things would get moving for you. It was one inning, and you had a completely different approach from 3 guys that came up to the plate. Luis Hernandez was all over the plate, and I think why he got struck out on that inside pitch is normally the way that he would see it outside of hogging the plate. Normally where he would set up in the batter's box, the pitch that he would see that far inside would be a ball. Regardless of that, I thought the entire approach changed based off of what we saw from the first and second inning. It was definitely a note, and I know definitely a talking point from Dave and Ben, which I fully agree, and I'm glad they pointed that out. But LSU does not play anything in the second. Cade Anderson in the top of the third goes 1-2-3, gets Cresser to fly out to Curiel, and he gets back to the top of the order. He gets Guzman and Suave to, or Savi, Suave, I don't know, whatever his name is, to fly out to strike out as well. So he gets his second and third K in the top of the third. Big 1-2-3 inning there. Bottom of the third, Kern would get Stanfield, or Stanfield would walk on Kern. Pearson and Fry would hit into a fielder's choice, both to the second baseman. One was a chopper by Fry, and the other one was a really hard hit ball by Pearson right to the second baseman. Jared Jones would ground out to the third baseman, and just like you got out of a jam in 1-2-3 with Anderson, you're right back on the field after hitting to a pair of fielder's choices and ground ball to the third. Top of the fourth, the same part of the lineup that gave us problems all day long. West, White, Kelly, King. Guys, the middle of that lineup today really gave LSU issues. The first time Cade Anderson went through it, he gives up a run. Second time was the most crucial part of it as LSU was trying to crank up their offense. He would get West to ground out to Danny Dickinson. He would get White to strike out. Kelly would walk, and then King would ground out to Danny Dickinson again, and you're out of the inning. Guys, let me pause right here when we're talking about the top of the fourth. West Virginia last weekend in the regional scored a shitload of runs. A shitload, but they gave up a lot too. the middle part of their lineup of West, White, Kelly, and King, along with Guzman, who went 8 of 12 last week. Guys, they are red hot. What they did today, what they did in the regional, whatever happened to them post Big 12 championship tournament, good Lord. They hit a lot of balls really hard to second. One was right back up the middle that Danny Dickinson had to back up on because it's technically a line drive, I guess you could call it, that's on a one-hopper, and Danny Dickinson's got to throw it to first. The shift worked in your favor there. But that middle of the lineup, even the second time through with Cade Anderson, really was barreling some shit up. They did it to you all game. I want to bring that up right now because even though you played it a run, the first time that part of the lineup came up, and you didn't this time, but they got a lot of runs. They would later in the game. They demolished you today. So, considering that this part of the lineup went nuclear last week in Clemson, considering the fact that they did some really good things on you today, and we're going to talk about it as we continue amongst the show, you better throw strikes, and you better land on your off-speed stuff, because if West, White, Kelly, and King are able to sit on the fastball, bad shit's going to happen to you, and you saw it today. All right. Bottom of the fourth, you got some things going here. This is where things started to turn around, was the bottom of the fourth for you. Stephen Milam would fly out into left field, but Hernandez and Dickinson would get hit by the pitch. On the one on Danny Dickinson was the one on the elbow that he would wear, and they got challenged, but it was upheld. Again, you have a guy in Kern who does not allow walks and does not hit batters. The approach was had to be something in film or something in analytical stuff that Jay Johnson saw, that Kern wants to strike guys out, and he really wants to pitch inside when you get 2 strikes. Guys, Luis Hernandez is hit on the knee. He's got 2 strikes on him. Now, Dickinson did not have 2 strikes, but the first time that Griffin would come inside on Dickinson, he would also get hit by the pitch. Guys, that's the elite approach and elite coaching. Knowing how a guy is going to try to attack you, game planning for that, and being ready for it. We don't talk enough. We only point out the negatives about the approach when Jay and company are doing something bad. Oh, the approach is off, myself included. Guys, this is the start of where you would start opening your can of whoop ass. By the approach. By being so far up on the plate, you get hit. Hernandez gets hit on the knee. Dickinson gets hit on the elbow. And then you got guys on. They would not attempt to go to Derek Curiel on the inside part of the plate. One was missed inside. They were trying to attack him outside. And in the bottom of the fourth, the electric freshman that got moved down in the 7-hole hit a 3-run bomb in the left field. Let's talk about this. Jay Johnson and LSU published their lineup today, and there was a lot of scuttlebutt in reference to the situation at hand with Curiel being moved out of the leadoff spot. There was some scuttlebutt by some in reference to Pearson leading off and playing right field for Brown. How do y'all feel about that shit now? Go look at the comments of the lineup. Go look at it. People did not agree with it. You agree with it now? Guys, in high levels of baseball, and I mean very high levels of baseball, managers move orders around when guys who struggle against a certain situation go to the bottom of the lineup, or they move it around to figure it out. What else you going to say? Well, boy, Derek Curiel hit a 3-run bomb. He should have been in the top of the lineup. Guys, he was put in a perfect spot to be right where he was when you needed him. When you needed him. And he was able to deliver. I don't even think the Curiel swing that he thought that it was gone, to be honest with you. Because he kind of thought like he was kind of like at the plate, like, go, go, go. Go, go, go. I don't think he thought that it was gone. But Derek Curiel, we've been talking about him the whole season at a very high level. Guys, he has struggled against left-handed pitching. So has Jake Brown. Elite players, elite dudes, figure it out when it matters. You didn't say a bum in Griffin Kern. That kid's not a bum. That kid's really good. The approach was perfect. He took an outside pitch. He took it the other way and barreled it up. It was out of there. Tigers lead 3-1. I felt like last week when LSU lost a game to Little Rock, and they lost because of all the walks, and then even in Game 7 when you give up a walk and then a hit by pitch by Cowan. When you allow teams to get runners on, especially a team like LSU, that's when you start losing, and that's when you get blown out. Now, as we talk amongst this postgame, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you got out hit by West Virginia. Well, guys, would you rather a hit by pitch, and a bomb? I mean, it doesn't matter to me if you get 2 singles or hit by pitch and 2 guys are on. For Derek Curiel, who got snubbed for the SEC Freshman of the Year, goes where the pitch was located on the outside part of the plate, waits, loads, opens, goes, launches, barreled, see ya. As the great Michael King would say, there it goes, see ya. By the way, my son Ben says that all the time. There it goes, see ya. Absolutely perfect. Derek Curiel was snubbed for the SEC Freshman of the Year for Dylan Volantis. Dylan Volantis is a really good pitcher. Arguably was one of, if not, some would say, from a closing standpoint from a freshman, just overall the best. And I think that it could be a debate. But I'm never, ever going to give a closer the SEC Freshman Player of the Year when Derek Curiel has been doing this kind of shit all season. The last time that I remember Curiel with runners on in a crucial spot going oppo taco was against Texas. Speaking of Texas, in that Game 1, Derek Curiel is not going to be special, and I say this every time, he is special. If I'm Jay Johnson, I'm recruiting every outfielder in America with the initials DC. I'm doing it. This kid is going to be something great. He's going to be something great. Guys, no telling what he was going to look like next year. He puts on 10, 15 pounds. Who knows? Shit could start getting elite. And the amount of money that he turned down, by the way, to come to LSU, I would not be surprised if, even though he's a draft-eligible sophomore, depending on where his grade is, going into next year, that you don't have a 3-year dude. So you do get that 3-run bomb and would start what would be a great day for LSU at the plate. LSU leads 3-1 in the 4th. Braswell would strike out. Man, let's stop on Brazzy. Brazzy had a fly out with runners on and a strikeout. He's just not seeing it. His approach is fucked up. His approach is really messed up. I don't know what else to say. I love Brazzy. I'm glad he's in there. He's better for us defensively. At this point, you got to go Reeves. Now, I think for me, I don't know if I wouldn't start Tanner Reeves at third. The problem in that is that I don't know if I say it's a problem. I don't know if Jay Johnson goes with that. What I think that he's going to do is run Brazzi out there again. And if you get situations where runners on, he's going to bunt him. And he's going to bunt him over. Brazzi would do that later on. Ever since the Tennessee home run, Brazzi's approach has been off. His swing is like an ice cream scoop. It's too Yui. He's got to be top down and trying to hit the top part of the baseball, like what he did to end the season a year ago. I don't think Jay's is gonna bench him. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. A guy that really made a lot of lineup changes. It goes to wonder if he wouldn't make a move like that. If you're asking me right now, I would need to see Jay do it. But I don't know if you don't get Tanner Reeves a shot, then let Brazzi come in at the end. The problem is if you start having a lot of errors from Reeves at third, which you haven't had of recent, you don't want to take the bat out if you're in a close game and bring in Michael Braswell. So we'll see how Jay continues to maneuver here. I don't know if I hate the approach of leaving Brazzi in. Brazzi's struggling. Guys, he's really struggling right now. Worse on your team. The same conversations that we were having with Jones, who was in a 2-week slump, as I air quoted for all those listening on audio podcast. Brazzi's the one that's in the real slump. He's in the real slump. It's not good for him right now. Not good at all. We'll see what happens here, but you might have to make a move. Chris Stanfield with a a line out to the center fielder would end the Four Tigers lead 3-1. Cade Anderson would come in, and the first pitch that would be thrown would be an E6 by Stephen Milam. Guys, got to be honest with you. Heat being a massive factor. Considering it's not the norm that Stephen Milam is going to make an error at short, I'm just going to brush it off. If that becomes an issue, then we'll talk about it. The only thing that I would point out is both of your middle infielders have had errors, and one in the regional and now one in the super regional. But man, it's still, as Ben pointed out, Ben McDonald pointed out on the telecast, guys, this might be LSU's best defensive team ever from a statistical standpoint. Certainly is under Jay Johnson. So on the top of the fifth, it's an error, but I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't like it, but I also am like, Stephen Milam has been so good, and he is so good at short, that you'd kind of just rub it off and pause and say, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So it is what it is there. Wouldn't affect Cade Anderson really, as Lumsden and Kresser would go down striking the fifth and sixth strikeout for Cade Anderson. Guzman would come up, man. Kid's red hot. The top, middle part, the first six hitters in this lineup for West Virginia freaking swing the bat so freaking good, man. Their approach is so fucking elite sometimes. Guzman would hit a line drive single into left field. So you got runners on the corners. Suave would fly out to right field to Josh Pearson to end the inning. Actually, line out. I put 2 Fs and then put no L. So 2 line outs in here. So Suave would go down with a line out. West Virginia unable to play to run. You have no worries there at all with the line drive single if you don't have an error there. But you got runners on the corners and a 2-run game at that point. I just want to point out that I'm not even close to worried about it. It happens. But, man, I just do I just want to say I don't care. Right? Like, I don't care that Stephen Milam had an error there. Is it something to monitor? Sure. If it happens again tomorrow, okay. We'll talk about it. But just how West Virginia, the bottom of the inning ahead, what we just talked about, you had 2 hit by pitches and then a bomb. You start getting runners on when you're not supposed to, and you're supposed to get it out there, bad shit starts happening. You're able to get out of it with an elite dude on the mound in Cade Anderson. Very elite dudes work out of situations and pick you up when you make a mistake. The only thing I will say there is, okay, fine. I don't want to harp on that error, and I've spent like 90 minutes talking about it, I feel like. So I don't want to harp on it. But you do get out of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th, this is where LSU exploded. This is where shit got real. Josh Pearson led off the game for LSU. And we've already talked about during the entire season, and if it's your first time watching us all year and it's your first time watching baseball, I guess I'll go through it again. Josh Pearson came in for Jake Brown and has pretty much all year for left-handed pitching because, guys, Josh Pearson is hovering around hitting 300 against left-handed pitching the entire season. That includes SEC play. That includes non-con play. Guys, he's one of his splits are ridiculous. He was hitting 290 coming into the game against lefties, 290 against righties. It's a little bit better for Jake Brown against righties, so he comes in. I feel like every time when good shit starts for LSU, every time Josh Pearson is involved. Every single time in the last 3 years under Jay Johnson, whether it be in Omaha with some of the elite catches that he had, whether it be the home run in Omaha, whether it be the clutch double that he had against Tennessee in a series against them, whether it be in the super regional when he comes up with a big bomb, wherever it is, whenever it is, I feel as if, for me, right, wrong, or indifferent, every single time LSU goes out there and dominates for whatever reason, it always feels as if that Josh Pearson is involved in it. Now, from some in our media, there has been a lot of talk in reference to Jake Brown being out of the lineup. Their argument is, and I know that y'all see it because y'all bring it inside of here and say, well, so-and-so said this. Here's the problem. Josh Pearson hit a line drive off the right field wall that was played perfectly. The issue that I have in it is that we're not pointing out that Josh Pearson is putting everything he's got into probably what will be the last season of baseball that he plays. Now, I would draft his ass because I love him. Every time that we need a big hit, like the bases clearing double that he got when you had to turn your season around a year ago to make the postseason, it was Josh Pearson that was up at the plate that got it going for you. And tonight today in the 5th inning, when everything started to come together, guess who is in the middle of it again? Guess who is in the middle of it again? A guy from the 3-1-8, the 3-1 great, Josh Pearson, off the wall. The argument from those in the media who do not want to see him, their argument is, well, for Jake Brown to be better against left-handed pitching, he's got to see more left-handed pitching. You don't get to just see shit in a super regional. You got to work on shit during the season. Because if you go up against a left-handed pitcher, and by the way, you play the winner of Arkansas and Tennessee, and by the looks of it right now, as I see, Arkansas, and Root might be the team that you see in the first game in Omaha. Josh Pearson's going to have to be a big part of that too. Jake Brown's going to start tomorrow against a righty. He's going to start tomorrow. But right now, you're senior. And guys, quite honestly, the dude that has been the backbone, the outright backbone of your team the last 3 seasons is coming through clutch for you again. In 2023, Jay Johnson said after the loss in Omaha that Josh Pearson made everybody go down to the hotel lobby and play cards. And in that, Jay said in a post-game interview that that was the reason that he felt with Josh being a leader, calmed everybody down, and you went back out in Omaha and put your big tiger nuts all over Tennessee's face. You would advance. You would go and play Wake Forest. We remember how 2023 happened. It was Jay Johnson in a post-game press conference after LSU takes game 1 against Texas A&M, the number 1 team in the country, that he says Josh Pearson goes up to the team before the game and says, guys, if we're going to make it to the postseason, it starts with us right here. And he's the one with the big hit. I don't give 2 flying Rudy Poos what anybody says. Josh Pearson might not ever play in the league. Jake Brown might. To win games, you need these dudes. Kay Beloso, Gavin Dugas, Braden Jobert. Those guys are glues to national championship runs. Blake, why are you spending so long on a freaking line drive single? Because later in the game, he would end the bitch. He would end it. I have been screaming this from the rafters all year. Y'all got to calm down on the Jake Brown, Josh Pearson switch. Who's right? Guys, who's right? Not the ones that sit on the side of taking Ethan Brown, Chris Stanfield, Derek Curiel out of the lineup. They're not taking Stanley out. Sorry. Not for Jake. They're not. Not in center field. They're not going to do it. Curiel hit a bomb. Pearson hits a line drive off the right field wall. And then later he's going to hit a grand slam. When you are on teams with elite talent, sometimes shit doesn't go your way. And you got to live with that shit. You got to live with that shit. Stop going to radio hosts saying, well, Jake Brown might transfer if you don't play him. Well, guys, if you win a super regional on the back of Josh Pearson helping you, well, priorities. All right. So a line drive single off the right field wall from Pearson. Ethan Fry would walk as they brought in Glasscock to West Virginia. So here's what I thought. And West Virginia did this last weekend and got bailed out. Guys, their young head coach and Saban, not Nick, would, I think, panic in the 5th. He panicked. He didn't go to one of his better arms. He went to 2 guys in Glasscock and Furman, who guys combined have 12 innings pitched on the entire season. 12. Guys, they're down 3-1 and they gave up a line drive single and he's already making changes. Now, you got Kern's pitch count way up. It was around 90. And that's normally where he tops out at. You got to tell that kid Kern to bite down on his mouthpiece and go give me 10 pitches. Guys, this is the super regional. I think you had a young coach make a bad decision because you're down 2. They still hit Cade Anderson. They still hit him. I think a lot of today, too, had to do with a young head coach in West Virginia's first-year head coach making a grave mistake and panicking, only being down 2. But he would bring in Glasscock and Furman, and Fry and Jones would walk. So you had the bases loaded and no outs, and Stephen Monster Milam up to the plate. Guys, the monster's back. As he would take a ball on the outer half of the plate and hit it into right center or right field down the line for a grand slam. Tigers lead 7-1. Guys, I think the monster's back. That kid is swinging it, and man, his approach has been completely different. You can't tell me otherwise that his approach hasn't been different. I felt like in the struggle during the SEC, Stephen Milam was trying to hit as many home runs as he could. I really felt that during the entire season. Then all of a sudden in South Carolina, or during the South Carolina week, something changed with Stephen Milam. He had 2 hits in game 1. He had a hit in game 2 and a pair of hits in game 3. Now, everybody struggled in the SEC tournament, but Stephen Milam, if I'm not mistaken, did have a pair of hits. You turn around to the regional, and Stephen Milam goes off. You turn around in a super regional, and he goes off. So what are we saying here? South Carolina, SEC tournament, regional, supers. 4 weeks. The last month, I have felt, and we have said on these postgame shows, guys, we're monitoring Stephen Milam. Thumbs up in the chat if you remember in the regional game when you beat DBU. If you were in that postgame, thumbs up in the chat if you remember this. We had a conversation about watching Monster Milam. Hey, man. All right. Dude might be hot. It was where the phrase came that I used, which has been used by generations of people, of we're going to, that he was hotter than a pot of crawfish coming out of a bowl fresh. No dusting. Guys, is he hot now? Because I can look at 3 weeks, South Carolina having your hits in the SEC tournament, turning around last week, and then hitting a grand salami. See ya. Shit. That bat's hot. That Stephen Milam at the plate is hot, pause, like he stole something. Guys, it was the perfect pitch, the perfect swing. I don't even know if that pitch wasn't a ball. Saw the ball deep, quick hands from the right side of the plate, taking it the opposite field. My man, I don't care if he's 5'3", 5'2", 5'1", 5'4". I could give 2 Rudy Poos. 5'5", I could care. Dude's got pop. When guys get out of slumps, Bear Jones in Game 7 of the regional, when he had a line drive into right field, right center field, and then hit one in the left center, but hit a home run in the left center. When guys normally find their ways out of a slump, it's when they're seeing the ball deep and taking that bitch the other way. South Carolina, the first hit for Stephen Milam in quite some time was a line drive into left field. And I plate my point here. David, Dwayne, Stephen, all giving us, Penn Jones, Chris, giving us the thumbs up. It was the conversation that we had in the DBU win of, hey, man, something might be up with Stephen Milam, and then he blows the game wide open. Guys, I got to be honest with you. When here in the fifth inning, when they went to some guys, meaning West Virginia, who had no experience, I fully felt that I'm not saying that they conceded it and conceded the game, but I felt like that they pressed. You got to tell Kern to go get you 10 pitches. I'm sorry. Like, I think he will learn. I know he's been a coach for a long time. I don't have the experience that he does, but at some point you got to go out to the mound and tell him, hey, bro, we need you here. We need you here. I understand not wanting to go a third time through the lineup and LSU seeing him for a third time. Man, you don't want to go to one of your better arms there to try to keep that game close? I think it was mismanaged by West Virginia. Then you bring in, Furman then just gets absolutely abused by Stephen Milam. It was the game. Now, West Virginia would play some runs. We would get it to 10-5. I never felt after that grand slam that you were losing. It was over. I hate to say that it's over in the fifth, but I'm like, they're not going to catch up because they're not going to bring out any of those good arms out of the pen, and you're just going to rock the shit out of it. Well, you did. Good on Stephen Milam. I'm chalking my man up as being hot. I'm chalking him up as being hot. What a big bat to get moving here and to get rolling when, guys, quite honestly, you need it the most. Now, I don't give two Rudy Poos, and let me say this. Everybody was talking about after the SEC tournament about the ability of not being able to score runs. Okay, well, we did that in 2023, and it didn't affect shit. Guys, you averaged 8.25 runs per game in a regional, and you scored 16 today. I don't care how you're getting on base. If they're going to walk you, if they're going to hit you with a pitch, who gives a flying shit? Well, Blake, we're not hitting it. Guys, Little Rock beat you and forced you into Game 7 with exactly that same strategy, and you're wanting me to come out here and say, hey, if the pitch is a ball and they're walking you and they're hitting you, that, you know what, we want you to get a hit anyway, so swing the bat. That is so dumb and so stupid. That's like when some people were used to coming here and, well, I'm not going to even go down there. I'm not even going to go down a football route. But regardless of how LSU would gain 10 yards, I never cared. They were like, we need to throw the ball more. Bitch, it's 10 yards. I don't care how you're getting on base. Regardless, Stephen Milam, seeing the pitch deep, taking the bitch the other way, grand slam. Boom. Guys, in my humble opinion, right there was the game for you. Now, you'd have to get some more runs, and you would, but I felt like it was over. Luis Hernandez, again, it's the approach. Guys, Luis Hernandez, and if you remember, Luis Hernandez in the fifth got hit by a pitch. Remember Luis Hernandez's first at-bat in the game? He's running because down the first base line in the second inning, remember, he was telling Jay that he got hit by the pitch, and Jay said, no, just get back in there. Get back in there. Luis Hernandez really got hit by 3 pitches. You can't convince me that that's not approach. You can't convince me it's not approach and how they're attacking. It's something that coaching staff had to have seen. Because, I mean, it's approach. I mean, legitimately, they try to do it to you in Game 7, and it backfired on them. And good on it that it did. Well, because, Case and Evans just dig down anybody. But Hernandez would get hit by a pitch. Danny Dickinson would walk, and the electric should have been SEC Freshman of the Year. Derek Curiel comes up with an RBI line drive single into center field on Hudson, who would replace Foreman, and LSU is up 8-1. Michael Braswell with a sacrifice bunt gets the 2 runners over, for Chris Stanfield, who had a 2 RBI line drive single into center field. Guys, don't tell me you weren't getting hits when you needed them, because you got 3 runs on Derek Curiel getting a hit and Stanfield getting a hit. Guys, you win games when you do great shit with guys on base. That has been LSU's issue this year. Tonight it wasn't. And today it wasn't. And I hope it continues to stay the same way. Because if you're going to have that level of approach against a really good team, you're going to win a lot of games. So you bat around. Josh Pearson comes back out, flies out to the right fielder, and Ethan Fry would hit a ground ball right back up the middle, but they were shaded right back up the middle for a 4-3 put out. It would end the inning. Now, the next inning would be the worst inning of the year for Cade Anderson. Top of the 6th. In a long time that he got saw. I saw some of y'all calling out Ben McDonald about Cade Anderson. Guys, that dude blows LSU more. He ain't calling nobody out. Y'all shut the fuck up. Y'all are so goddamn sensitive sometimes. Top of the 6th. Worst inning of the year for Cade Anderson. Not remotely close. Not remotely close. West and White. With a ground ball single into the 6 hole through the shift. Then a line drive off the first base bag for a double. Guys, the middle of this lineup can swing it. I'm telling you, don't, just because we're up going game, don't let this shit fool you that the middle of this lineup can swing the sticks. Guys, they've done it on everybody all year long as West Virginia. They have multiple guys hitting 350 in the middle of that lineup. You have one that's a line drive the opposite way, and one, he pulls it and it hits off the bag for a double. Guys, they've been doing this shit all year, and they're going to continue to do it. Middle of the lineup, third time Cade Anderson saw it, really came back to bite him in the ass. So you would have a fly out by Kelly into center field, and then a 2 RBI single line drive into right field by King. And here come the Mountaineers. Reinhardt would walk, Swain, would hit an RBI ground ball single right back up the middle. And the score is 10-5. Guys, it was the worst inning all year for Cade Anderson. Sometimes when you sit for an damn near close to an hour, I mean, that shit's just going to happen. As Ben alluded to, he said for him, and it didn't happen much, when a pitcher sits that long, it could be one of the worst things that you have to go through as a pitcher to stay warm. I'm going to chalk it up for that because that has not been the norm all year. Hadn't been the norm. And I don't think it's going to be. Clearly. But glad it came now. Glad it came now. But the Mountaineers would plate 4, Tigers up 10-5. Like what I did here, I'll say this. Like what I did with Stephen Milam's error, I'm going to do that with Cade Anderson's outing in the 6th. Guys, I'm flushing it. I'm absolutely flushing it. I don't want to say I could care less, because anytime that you give up 4 runs in an inning from one of your aces or your ace, it's a problem. And you gotta monitor it. Liam Doyle did it twice this year. I remember Tulane kind of getting on Paul Skeens a little bit, even though he threw a complete game, that freaking alien. Look, man, I could come out here and spend a lot of time in reference to that. I'm not going to. I'm flushing it. If it happens in Omaha, we'll come back and point to it and say maybe Cade, just the gas wasn't there at the end, whatever, or that's just baseball. I don't know. But I'm completely flushing it. A good team hits you the 3rd time through the lineup. Do not mistake it. This West Virginia team's a really good team. Very, very good team. So I hate it for Cade. I wish Cade's outing could have gone better for him. And what would probably be the last time that we'll see him at Alex Box, but it is what it is. We'll get to that in the next inning. And talk about his last inning at Alex Box here. Bottom of the sixth, Jones hits a line drive double into left field off of the wall. Ground, I mean, not literally, but to the wall, I should say. Stephen Mott is Jones still in a slump, by the way? I mean, can you have a multi-hit game, back-to-back games, and still be in a slump? I don't know. But Jones hits a line drive double into left field. Stephen Milam would walk. Hernandez would lay a sac bunt down, but it wouldn't be a good one as the pitcher, what's this kid's name? Hudson would be able to get out at third. Sorry, I didn't write it up top for whatever reason on the score sheet. Danny Dickinson would get hit by a pitch as Lyman comes in to the game here. Derek Curiel would have an RBI walk, and so would Ashton Larson. So, guys, you got a double, a walk, a hit by pitch, 2 RBI walks by Curiel and Larson, which that was Curiel's 4th or 5th RBI of the game. Derek Curiel's going off. The young freshman finding it right now, that would be also great. Guys, if you would have told me coming into today, by the way, that Derek Curiel would have 5 RBIs against a lefty, I would have said he had a grand slam and he got a base hit, and I couldn't believe it. And, guys, he freaking did it. He freaking did it. Good shit. Elite approach, too. You got bases loaded from a freshman. That's the most Dylan Cruz shit of all time, by the way, what he did. How many times did Dylan take walks that would play to run or want to really get a hit in a big situation, and he would just take the walk? I mean, that's just elite. I mean, Curiel could have pressed right there too, especially with seeing a new hitter who just hit a guy. And 5 pitches, he walks, RBI, 5th of the day. Ashton Larson comes in for Braswell. So let's stop right here. I do think the approach is going to be by Jay Johnson to run out Braswell, and then maybe he starts Reeves tomorrow. I don't know. I really don't. But Larson has come in the regional, and he's come into the postseason here. Look, man. I think the approach will be to start Braswell, pitch in him with Larson, and then go to Reeves at the end, especially if you're chasing runs. I don't know if you don't start Reeves, because the thing about in-season tinkering with your lineup and doing things and why it can hurt you is, I mean, what if you go to Reeves, who's really struggled at third? Now, he hasn't of late, and that's a great sign, but it's struggled at times at third. You get into a close game and you're trying to pitch it, and then you got a problem because Brazy's not swinging it. And if this kid makes errors, then you could have a problem. Guys, you got run rule by Northwestern State because of third base errors. Now, it wasn't Reeves and it wasn't Braswell. It was Jared Jones who started at third. But, man, you have an issue there. Glad Ashton Larson's not in the portal right now, because that kid can run into one, and you always need guys that can really play, and you need the depth. And I think the kid's going to start next year. I think your outfield next year very easily could look like could be Larson, Curiel, and Brown. 3 lefties, by the way. That would definitely help you with bringing in Simpson, who's a righty who will probably play third. And I'll tell you this, by the way. How do I want to say this? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say this. LSU has 2 commitments in the portal right now. They got one from Simpson, and I think there's going to be maybe another one soon. But I've been asked by some of you in the forum if there was another commitment. Yes. Yes. So we'll see. Glad Ashton Larson's not in the portal. Mikey Ryan did hit the portal today, by the way. I hate that shit. Stanfield would fly out to second base. So another situation where LSU's got 2 outs with the bases loaded. And this shit could have gotten tight if you didn't do what you're about to do. Josh Pearson comes up with a grand slam in the right field. Why ever question Jay Johnson? There can be times to question him. But, man, Josh Pearson hit a line drive off the wall, then hit a grand salami. What a day for the man. Because this easily could be the last time in Alex Box that we see Josh Pearson. Maybe he gets another plate appearance, maybe. And he's your first guy off the bench from a pitch hit standpoint. But if you get in a close game and Jake Brown plays all game tomorrow, that might be the last time that we see Josh Pearson. Now, Pearson, if I'm not mistaken, I think that would be his last at bat. Yeah, it was his last at bat. If the last at bat for Josh Pearson is a grand slam into right field, what a hell of a way to walk it off. Now, I hope he gets another plate appearance, right? But if you're up big tomorrow, I might tell Jay, hey, Jay, I'm good. Let Jake take the game. Let him go. Let him go. I want my last at AB and Alex Box to be a grand slam. Postseason Pearson, baby. He's live and kicking it. I can't stress enough how much look, no pause. As a fan of a player, like last year during football, it was Josh Williams for me. I freaking love Josh Williams. I'd do anything right now for Josh Williams that I could. It's the same way with me with Josh Pearson. Guys, you know that I have been very vocal about being someone who really likes NIL, and now this weekend with the House settlement case, I love that college players are making money. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. We don't see guys it's very rare that we see a guy like Josh Pearson who's been here through the highest of highs and last year during the lowest of lows. And now he's on another high here. I'm going to say something that I don't normally – I'm going to do something and say something that I don't normally do. When it comes to sourcing stuff in baseball, I never really bring it up. In football, we do it a fuckload. In baseball, with this baseball team and staff, I feel like that we have some of the best connections and friends that are out there. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. If you ask anybody, and I mean anybody, on that staff, who was the glue that's held things together the last 3 seasons, his name's going to be the number one name that you hear. When you're in this business and you talk to people off the record, and I'm not naming any names, but I'm telling you, they would tell you that Josh Pearson might not ever have his jersey and number retired in the rafters. He will forever be a legend to Blake Ruffino. Forever. I love him, man. I love him. And I love that he had success today. If that is the last time that we see Josh Pearson, what a dude. What a dude. 318, 3-1 great. And by the way, his brother's right behind him. Let's hope that continues. And you just got a right-handed version of it. If you have a right-handed version of it. Damn, the root went nuts. All right, let's finish it up here. I was trying to see if Jay had a magic moment. Doesn't look like he posted that yet. Doesn't look like he posted it yet. All right, let's finish it out. Bottom of the seventh, or top of the seventh, excuse me. Anderson, we get a ground out in his seventh K with Suave and West. Then he gives up a line drive single into center field with White as a pitch hitter. Then Kelly would come up and hit a 2-run bomb in the right center field. Again, not the best stuff today from Cade Anderson. He would get a fly out in the left field, and that would be the game. Going to do exactly what I just did for Josh Pearson. Guys, what an outright turnaround this season by Cade Anderson. Last year, you saw glimpses of how great he could be. This year, he has been your ace. He has been your number one. Anthony Ionson's been right there with him. But the Friday night guy, the guy that's run out there every single day, every single Friday or Thursday night, has been number 32. And tonight, even though he didn't have his best stuff, guys, Cade Anderson's a dude. One of the best to ever do it here. One of the best to ever put the jerseys on. I don't think we're going to see Cade Anderson again unless you got into a very dire situation. And he goes up to Jay and says, I'm ready to go. Thank you to Cade Anderson. The kid probably should have gotten drafted out of high school. And it's very unfortunate that an injury could have stopped a young man's dreams. And I know one of his biggest dreams was to play for LSU. But guys, the real truth is that kid's going to play baseball and he's going to pitch for a very long time. Guys, it's very easy to see that you're 10 years removed from today and Cade Anderson's still on a major league club somewhere. It's probably his last time that we're going to see him. The 985, man. The 985. Absolutely getting the shit done. Absolutely getting it done. All right. Let's roll through the rest of this because it was what it was. You didn't get anything in the seventh. Jones line out to center field, a walk, a strikeout, a fly out. The eighth, you went platoon. Eighth and ninth, you went platoon. You did give up a home run. Schmidt gave up a home run in the ninth. Rizzi came in and gave up a single but got a ground out and a strikeout. We got to have a conversation on William Schmidt, just not the right time. You had a double play in the bottom of the eighth, and it is what it is. But the Tigers do plate 16. They beat West Virginia in game 1, 16-9. And for whatever it's worth, it's a fantastic game one, man. I don't understand some of the level of concern. Now, you have Kason Evans or Anthony Ianson and Kason Evans that can go for you tomorrow if you need fit. West Virginia, you're going to get everything from them tomorrow. Their season's on the line. Got to be top tier, man. Anthony Ianson's got to locate that all-speed stuff. And if he does, I think you'll be fine. It will be interesting to see if Jay Johnson, if you have a lead tomorrow, what he does with Kason Evans. If you're asking me, I am going Kason Evans if you got a 1-2 run lead and we're going back to Omaha. I understand the game 3 situation because this series isn't over. Don't act like it is because it is not over. So All I will say here is this. You're gonna get their best punch tomorrow. And I don't know if you don't roll with your two best arms, but at the same time, the situation's probably going to dictate itself. Go take it to them tomorrow, and we're back to Omaha. I do not want to get to football right now. Yes, indeed. So all in all, man, absolutely fantastic game. Fantastic game. And I don't think Cade Anderson's going to be that bad moving forward. Frank Castle with a $20 super chat says LSU won this 16-5 in my hypothetical world. A star-nosed mole could have seen Anderson should have been pulled a batter sooner, and Schmidt shouldn't have been extended. I had both of them switched in my decisions before fail. I don't agree with that, and I wish we could have had a situation where Cade Anderson could have been pulled after the home run. And I'm sure Jay's going to say this in his postgame, or he's definitely going to probably say it to Cade. I would have pulled him there in the 6th or 7th, or technically the 7th. I would have pulled him there in the 7th and let my man get the standing up. Let him come back. Let them have to hit their way to beat you, because they're not going to do it. But it gets it to you. Frank, I don't know if I go 16-5 because, quite frankly, they still hit a 2-run bomb. I mean, they got 7 on Anderson today. So in my mind, even though I'm fighting with you over semantics, I'd say 6 or 7. So I'm 2-run difference. But I get but here's what I'd say to Frank. I fully understand what he's saying. Like you whipped their ass. But Frank, here's the thing with me there too. Now that I'm thinking about this. I think that they're playing a long game. It feels like to me that West Virginia's playing the long game. If I'm just being honest. I mean, guys, they were down 2 runs, and they came in with guys who have no experience and hadn't pitched all year. I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Not in my world, it doesn't make sense. Frank also says, with a $5 super chat, says that Jay was up big, so he's seeing if they can close. I wouldn't have done that because I, quote-unquote, coach to kill and destroy, but I get why Jay did it. Oh, he 100% did it to save his bullpen. Frank, if I'm just being honest with you, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have done the exact same thing he did. I mean, you can't seek and destroy when you got another game to win. If this were Game 3 against Florida in the College World Series, I would be likely to agree with you. All right. We're out of here. We got UFC, and I got steaks I need to go grill. Postseason baseball, baby. We live to fight another day. Here's what we know. No matter what, we're going to have 2 more baseball postgame shows at minimum. That's what we know. So, until then, fantastic game. Loved everything about it. Randy Jones says this team has so much heart. A lot. Bookmarks are going to be flying tomorrow if we go back to Omaha, by the way. If y'all got some old tweets about Jay that you don't like or that you said about him, then bookmarks coming. Y'all better go delete y'all's tweets. Here's a warning. You better go delete them. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Peace.